Hello guys, I hope you're having a great day and our little chat about chemistry in this video only makes it better. In this video, we're going to be doing a retrosynthesis problem. So if you were given this starting material abbreviated as SM, how would you synthesize this product? And now the reason we're going to approach this in the backwards direction is because sometimes it's hard to see how, especially if there's multiple steps, the starting material was converted to the product. If it's not a one-step reaction, well, this is kind of hard to do. So what we want to do is start with our product. So for retrosynthesis, I'm going to write this in the reverse direction. Start with the product, and then I'm going to work backwards towards my starting material to figure out how I synthesize this product. Now, our retrosynthesis arrows are always going to have two backwards arrows, so like this, versus a regular arrow, which is like this. So now that we're doing retrosynthesis, so going in the backwards direction, I'm going to be drawing my arrows just like this. Step number 1 is going to be to count the number of carbons in your product and compare it to the number of carbons in your starting material. So step number 1 is going to be count. So I'm going to arbitrarily label these carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 carbons in the product versus in the starting material, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what is 9 minus 7? Well, 9 minus 7 is equal to 2. Therefore, my first chop is going to be something that breaks off 2 carbons. So I need to break off 2 carbons. What bond should I break? This is going to be the next question. But what if I decided to break this bond, okay? Let's do a critical thinking exercise. So every time you break a bond in the backwards direction, 1 carbon, a part of that break, is going to become delta plus. So you broke a bond in between carbon 4 and carbon 3. 1 carbon must become delta plus and the other one must become minus. So I would say, what if I had arbitrarily carbon number 4 is delta plus and then carbon number 3 is minus, okay? Well, this is a cyclohexane, and is that the same cyclohexane as what we want in our starting material? Well, no. This cyclohexane only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. Well, now we have just complicated things for our approach. We want this retrosynthesis to be as quick and as strategic as possible. So you don't want to add steps for yourself. Here, well, now I need to figure out a way to add 1 more carbon, right? Because there's 7 carbons in your starting material. Right now, I only have 6. So this was a bad choice. So let's try again. And there's nothing wrong with trying again in retrosynthesis. So what if I decide instead to break the bond in between 3 and 2? Break. Okay, so what happens? Well, 1 has to become delta plus 1 carbon, so either carbon 3 or carbon 2. And 1 has to become delta minus or minus. Well, here I have an alkyne. Alkyne. And we know alkynes can be nucleophiles, so this should be easy. Well, our alkyne is minus charged. It's an anion. So therefore, carbon number 3 would be our delta plus carbon. Good. And then this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 carbons, and our starting material has 7 carbons. Yay, I'm on the right track. So the next question is, well, you have to deal with your 2 byproducts now. So this would have could have came from an acetylide anion, so Na, and then you have your CH, and we call this an acetylide anion. So now all I have to do is deal with this. Well, do I need to add any carbons? No, you have 7 carbons, and your starting material also has 7 carbons, so I'm like almost done. But now the question is, well, how do I get a delta plus on a carbon? The first question you should ask yourself is, what does delta plus actually mean? Well, it means that carbon number 1 is in an electron deficit. So this carbon is electron deficit. So that means somebody could be stealing its electrons. Who steals electrons? Well, electronegative atoms steal electrons. So this could have been attached to a bromine that is delta minus, pulling electrons towards itself, hence making this carbon delta plus in an electron deficit. That's pretty much it. So now all I need to do is get from this to our starting material. So question is, can we take a double bond and convert it to a bromine? Let's do some review on another page real quick. So let's say if I had this double bond and I tossed in HBr, what would happen? Well, step one, we always want to draw in that bond in between the two atoms, right? So these two electrons could flick out, grab that hydrogen, and then every 2 in is reciprocated with a 2 out. So we would get, well, the more stable carbocation left over, you get a hydrogen, you get a Br minus, that's going to go bada bing. And if you want a more in-depth explanation on this, I have videos, so please go watch my other ones. So then what would I get? Well, I would get a bromine on the more substituted carbon of the initial double bond. So the blue carbon was attached to more hydrogens, the pink one was attached to more carbons. So the bromine adds on to the carbon that initially was attached to more carbons. And this is a regular HBr. So what if I went with peroxides though? So we call this the Anti-Markovnikov. So if I had HBr with ROOR, this would be the Anti-Markovnikov. So the bromine wouldn't end up on the pink carbon. It would actually end up on the blue carbon. So I'd get a bromine on the less substituted carbon. Which case do we have in our actual problem? Well, we have this. So this could have came from a double bond via the Anti-Markovnikov addition of HBr. So this would be our retrosynthetic approach. But now it's always good to go back to the beginning and start in the forward direction. So if you have the starting material, what would we add in? We'd need to add in HBr and then ROOR, which is just peroxide. And what do we get? Well, if you have a pink carbon, and a blue carbon, well, the blue carbon is less substituted. So the bromine would add to the less substituted carbon. So the blue one. So we get a bromine on the blue carbon. And then all we got to do is add in our acetylide anion. So NaCC with a triple bond, where the Na is plus, and then we have our nucleophilic carbon, a part of that triple bond. And who do nucleophiles want to attack? Well, they want to attack delta plus things, such as carbons attached to halogens. 2 in, 2 up. And then we get our final product, which is our 6-membered ring. Then we have a bond to that blue carbon, which lost the bromine. And now it is going to be attached via this pink bond to the carbon that is triple bonded to another carbon, the CH, which we don't need to draw that H in, it's arbitrary, which would be our product. So now this would be the synthesis in the forward direction. Bada bing, bada boom. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. And once again, if you have some questions in regards to the addition of HBr or the Anti-Markovnikov, please go back to my other videos because I have posted a more in-depth analysis on this topic. If you made it this far, please make sure to leave a like, comment, save, and or subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, and it'll help me get on that YouTube Creator Fund, which would be super cool. Have a great day, guys. Bye.